Hey there. So yesterday, I'm thinking about the full-bodied love of Jesus. Just thinking about the depth and all of the character and just variety of ways that the love of Jesus comes out of the person of Jesus. Just so much to behold there. And I was thinking, man, how do I illustrate that for people? And the millennials, they kind of help me out a little bit because they're really good at taking the time to just appreciate the good things in life, to be contemplative and just thinking about the beauty and the complexity of the world that we live in. And one of the things that they've dived deep into is coffee, right? We've invented new ways to prepare coffee in order to get all the flavor and all the notes, or just all of the different varieties in a cup of coffee to get that out of it and be able to taste that. So they've got this thing called an AeroPress, right? It's like this 10-step process for making a cup of coffee. It'll actually crack you up. You can get on Simple Living and watch a 5 to 7 minute video on how to make 1 cup of coffee. But I mean, they got a special stir stick. They've got this little filter you got to pre-wet and warm, and there's like a scale to measure your coffee on. You know, some people like 17 grams a cup. Some people are more 14 grams a cup. Like, they're serious about this, okay? And so then they've got a thermometer, right? So you can make sure your water's the right temperature, because you don't want to scald the coffee and you don't want the water too low a temperature, or you might just not get all the flavor out of the coffee. I was watching this, I was thinking, like, okay, when did we start calling AeroPress coffee making simple living? Like, I think we've got a little crazy there. So I wanted to kind of, before we get into how this has to do with Jesus, just go back to my missionary days and just remind the world that there's simpler ways to do stuff, right? Okay, so this is all I've got's a kitchen pot. Lost my French press in the airport, you know, customs took it, I don't know, 3 months without a coffee making method. It's called boil the water. All right, take the coffee. This is good coffee, by the way. Smells good. Pour it in until it basically covers the top, and stir it, okay? Again, that's heat the water, pour the coffee, stir, and then you can turn it off at that point. But you want the coffee boiling, because what happens is it causes all the grounds to go down to the bottom or stick to the edge. So this is like, I got no filter, I've got no coffee making utensils except my pot of water, and I just need some coffee, man. And I was thinking, okay, I might not get all the flavor out of this, but at least I get the coffee thing going on, right? At least I get my coffee. It's kind of, for me, it's like, okay, if all you had was the cross, right? Let's get down to the basics. If all you had was the cross, you could still behold the love of Jesus. All you got's a pot and some water. You can still drink some coffee. Okay, that's pretty good right there. No grounds in that. I had to wipe a little off the edge of the cup, but that's some pretty good coffee right there. Okay, if you're serious and you're like all worried about your grounds and everything, you know, you could like put a paper towel over your cup and pour. All right, but just dunk the cup. You're good to go. You got your coffee. But let's just give it to the millennials, okay? They have dived deep into coffee. They have discovered chocolate taste. They've discovered citrus. They've discovered so many things. And I think that we could learn something there about how to think and look at and study Jesus, because there is so much there in the love of Jesus. I talk about Jesus' love as a full-bodied love. Right? You just look at Jesus' life and you're going to see Jesus serving, right? The love of God moves Jesus to feed people, to just care for people, to heal, right? Crowds of people coming to Jesus. They're all tired. The disciples are tired. They've been busy ministering. Jesus is like, no, let's let them come. He puts his hands on every single one, heals them all. They're hungry. The disciples are like, Jesus, send these guys away, right? It's getting late. We don't know what to do. We don't want to take care of this. Jesus is like, you guys feed them. It's the love of Jesus moving him to make other people's needs his problem. He cares about it. And so they feed him. The cool part of that story, right? Jesus feeding these 5,000 people. He divides these 5 loaves and multiplies them so it feeds all of these people. And he gives that to his disciples to pass out. But Jesus, I think, hands out the fish. You guys can study and read that on your own. But it says that he divided the fish among them all. The disciples got the bread. Jesus got the fish. He was among us as one who serves. It's just this piece of the love of Jesus. He's willing to get up and walk 22 miles to a city called Nain so he could heal a widow's son, right? Just this crazy, drop everything to care for us kind of a love in Jesus. There's the discipleship part of Jesus' love, right? Him going out of his way to invest and to pour in to people. His desire for their joy and their growth in just their ability to be what God made him to be. He's just wanting them to be with him. He's wanting to share with them the best parts of what he knows about God. He's like, I called you friends because everything I've heard from my Father I've shared with you. There's the just put his arms around you and love on you love of Jesus that's displayed in his life, right? He's touching lepers and healing them. He's putting kids on his knee and saying, hey man, don't keep them from coming to me. Let them come. I love these guys. I'm going to spend an eternity with these guys. These kids, they are just the poster children for the kingdom of God. They're going to be there with me. Jesus has a crazy, deep, will challenge you, change your life kind of a love. And you cannot possibly taste it all in one sitting. It's worth taking the time to just hold it in your mouth and taste the goodness of who he is and what he's done. There's depth to who Jesus is. I want to be careful that I don't minimize the depth of knowledge and understanding that can be gained about Jesus through the cross, right? We learn so much about who God is and his heart for us through the death of Jesus, through the sacrifice of Christ for us. But I do want you to understand that just like there's more to be learned about coffee than you can taste in this cup with this coffee method, there is more to be learned about Jesus than you can behold and understand through just the cross of Christ, right? There's this whole life. And there's so much there for us to understand about who he is and what God has displayed through him about his heart for the world. And I would just encourage you to dig deep and slow down and just behold the heart of God that was revealed through the life and the death of Jesus Christ. Enjoy. Talk to you guys later.